Hey there, coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of numismatics, uncovering the stories behind the coins that make our hearts race and our wallets dream big. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join our community of coin lovers as we explore the rare, the valuable, and the downright extraordinary. Today, we're embarking on an epic journey to unravel the mystery of a 1997 D Lincoln penny that's rumored to be worth a jaw-dropping $50 million due to its rare errors and mistakes. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny potentially worth millions. So, grab your magnifying glass, settle in, and let's dive into the captivating tale of this modern numismatic marvel, exploring the errors, mistakes, and possibilities that could elevate a humble 1-cent coin to such an astronomical value. The 1997 D Lincoln penny, minted at the Denver Mint with a mintage of over 4.5 billion, might seem like just another common coin you'd find in your pocket change, but certain examples from this year have collectors buzzing with excitement due to rare and valuable errors that could make them worth a fortune. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's centennial birthday, is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, designed by Victor David Brenner for the obverse, featuring Lincoln's portrait, the motto, "In God We Trust," above, liberty to the left, and the date, 1997, to the right, while the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo in 1959 for Lincoln's 150th anniversary, showcases the Lincoln Memorial with "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" above and 1 cent below, with the D mint mark to the right of the memorial for Denver minted coins. With such a massive mintage, you'd think there's nothing special about a 1997 D penny, but in the world of coin collecting, it's the errors, those rare mistakes made during the minting process, that can transform an ordinary penny into a numismatic treasure worth millions. Let's start with one of the most sought-after errors, the double die obverse, a mistake that occurs when the die used to strike the coin is impressed multiple times at slightly different angles during its creation, resulting in a visible doubling of design elements like Lincoln's portrait, the date, or the inscriptions. For the 1997 D penny, a double die obverse could manifest as a noticeable doubling in Lincoln's ear, eye, or the words "liberty" or "In God We Trust," creating what collectors call the doubled ear error, which is particularly prized because it's both visually striking and rare. This error happens during the die-making process when the hub, which transfers the design to the die, misaligns, causing the design to be struck twice, and while it's not as famous as the 1955 or 1969 S double die pennies, a 1997 D penny with a pronounced double die could fetch thousands or even tens of thousands in high grades, like MS 67 or MS 68 red, where the coin retains its original coppery red luster. Imagine finding a penny where Lincoln's ear appears doubled under a loop. That could be your ticket to a significant payday. Another error that could elevate a 1997 D penny's value is the off-center strike, where the coin's planchet, the blank metal disc, is misaligned during striking, resulting in part of the design being shifted off the edge, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area. The value of an off-center 1997 D penny depends on how dramatic the misalignment is. A 3% to 5% off-center strike might be worth $3 to $10, but a 50% off-center coin, where the date and major design elements remain visible, could command $100 or more, with extreme examples potentially reaching into the thousands. Picture a penny where Lincoln's face is half missing, yet the date, 1997, and the D mint mark are still clear. That's the kind of error that makes collectors' eyes light up. Then there's the possibility of a broad strike error, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar that keeps it circular, resulting in a wider, thinner coin with a distorted edge. A 1997 D broad strike penny, if the entire design is still visible, could be worth hundreds, as these errors are less common and highly collectible, especially in uncirculated condition. Another intriguing error is the wrong planchet mistake, where a 1997 D penny is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, like a dime, which is smaller and composed of a copper-nickel alloy rather than the 1997 penny's 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper composition. Such a mistake would result in a penny with an unusual silver-colored appearance and a slightly smaller diameter, making it a rare mule error, similar to the famous 2001 D Lincoln cent struck with a dime reverse that sold for $114,000 in 2021. If a 1997 D penny were struck on a dime planchet, its value could soar into the tens or hundreds of thousands, as only a handful of such errors are known across all Lincoln cents, making them spectacularly rare. Another possibility is a die cap error, where a coin sticks to the die and is struck multiple times, creating a distorted, bottle cap-like appearance, or a brockage error, where a previously struck coin sticks to the die and impresses its mirror image onto the next planchet, resulting in a penny with, say, two obverse or a reverse that's a negative of the obverse design. These errors are exceedingly rare and could push a 1997 D penny's value into the thousands, especially if certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC in high grades. Die cracks, where the die itself breaks and leaves raised lines or ridges on the coin, are another error type. A major die crack or cut affecting a significant portion of the design, like a blob over part of the Lincoln Memorial, could make a 1997 D penny worth $50 to $500, depending on its prominence and condition. The condition of the coin is critical. Collectors prize pennies in mint state grades, particularly MS 67 or higher, where the coin is uncirculated, free of wear, and retains its original red color, as opposed to reddish brown or brown, which significantly lowers value. A 1997 D penny graded MS 68 red by PCGS, even without errors, sold for $863 in an auction, but with a major error like a double die or off-center strike, the value could climb exponentially. The $50 million price tag, however, seems to stem from speculation or exaggeration, possibly inspired by the rarest of Lincoln cent errors, like the 1943 D bronze cent that sold for $1.7 million in 2010, one of the most valuable pennies ever due to its wartime transitional error where it was struck on a bronze planchet instead of the steel used in 1943. For a 1997 D penny to approach anywhere near $50 million, it would need an unprecedented combination of errors, perhaps a unique mule error, like a Lincoln cent obverse paired with a completely different denomination's reverse, combined with a high grade like MS 69 red, and a one-of-a-kind status verified by experts. While no documented 1997 D penny has reached such a value, the possibility isn't entirely out of the question, as new era discoveries can shake up the numismatic world. For instance, a 1997 D penny with a dramatic double denomination error, where it struck over a previously struck coin of another denomination, could theoretically command 6 or 7 figures if it's unique and authenticated. The minting process in 1997 at the Denver Mint was highly automated, but human error or mechanical mishaps could allow such anomalies to slip through quality control, especially during die setup or planchet feeding. The Denver Mint produced 4,576,555,000 pennies in 1997, so the sheer volume increases the chance that a few error coins escaped into circulation, waiting to be found in change jars, bank rolls, or even vending machines. Collectors value these errors not just for their rarity but for the stories they tell. Each mistake is a snapshot of a moment when the mint's precision faltered, creating a coin that defies the norm. The 1997 D penny's composition, 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, also opens the door to errors like missing or incomplete plating, where the zinc core is exposed, giving the coin a silvery or mottled appearance, potentially worth $20 to $100 depending on the extent and condition. Another rare error could be a clip planchet, where the coin blank is incompletely cut, resulting in a straight or curved missing edge, valued at $10 to $50 for minor clips but potentially more for dramatic ones. The allure of a $50 million 1997 D penny likely comes from the dream of finding a Holy Grail error, like a transitional error where a 1997 D penny is struck on a bronze planchet from an earlier era, though no such error is known for this year. The numismatic community thrives on such possibilities, as seen with the 1959 D Lincoln cent mule with a wheat reverse, which fetched $50,000, or the 2001 D mule with a dime reverse, proving that modern coins can harbor million-dollar mistakes. To make a 1997 D penny worth millions, it would need to be a singular anomaly, perhaps a unique double-struck coin with multiple errors, like a double die combined with an off-center strike and a wrong planchet, graded MS 69 or higher, and hyped by auction houses as a once-in-a-lifetime find. The coin's provenance, its history of ownership and discovery, would also add to its value, especially if it was found in circulation, adding a romantic, rags to riches narrative. Collectors should always have such coins authenticated by PCGS or NGC, as counterfeit errors or post-mint damage can be mistaken for genuine errors, and cleaning a coin can drastically reduce its value. The 1997 D penny's high mintage means most are worth just 1 cent, but uncirculated examples in MS 65 or higher can fetch 10 to 30 cents, and error coins push that value much higher. The numismatic market is driven by rarity, condition, and demand, and while a $50 million 1997 D penny is likely a speculative figure, error coins like double dies or off-center strikes can still be worth hundreds or thousands, making them exciting finds for collectors. Imagine checking your change and spotting a 1997 D penny with a blurry Liberty or an off-kilter Lincoln Memorial. Those are the moments that fuel the passion for coin collecting. The hunt for such treasures involves patience and knowledge, using tools like a 10x loop to inspect for doubling or misalignment, and resources like coinvaluechecker.com or PCGS Coinfax to compare known errors. The 1997 D penny, while common, holds the potential for extraordinary value if it carries the right combination of errors, and the dream of a multi-million-dollar find keeps collectors scouring their change. So, next time you're at the gas station or emptying your coin jar, take a closer look at those 1997 D pennies. You might just have a numismatic masterpiece in your hands. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the 1997 D Lincoln penny, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow collectors, and let us know in the comments if you've ever found an error coin. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and we'll see you in the next video. Next, let's dive into the fascinating world of numismatics, where a seemingly ordinary 2000 D Lincoln cent, a humble penny struck at the Denver Mint, could potentially be worth an astonishing $40 million due to rare minting errors and mistakes that transform it into a numismatic treasure coveted by collectors worldwide. The 2000 D Lincoln cent, part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series that began in 1959, is typically valued at just 1 cent in circulated condition, with uncirculated examples fetching a modest premium of 36 cents to $40.40 depending on their grade, such as MS 65RD, red, indicating a coin with full mint luster and no toning. However, certain extraordinary errors and varieties elevate specific 2000 D pennies to legendary status, making them some of the most valuable modern coins in existence. To understand why a 2000 D penny could command such an astronomical price, we need to explore the minting process, the types of errors that can occur, and the specific anomalies that could theoretically push its value to such an unprecedented level. The Denver Mint, marked by the D mint mark below the date on the obverse, produced over 8.7 billion Lincoln cents in 2000, making it one of the most common coins in circulation that year. Yet within this massive output, rare mistakes slipped through the mint's quality control, creating coins that are now the holy grail for collectors. One of the most valuable error types is the mule coin, where a coin is struck with mismatched dies intended for different denominations, resulting in a hybrid design that defies standard coin production. For instance, a 2000 D Lincoln cent could theoretically be a mule if it was struck with the obverse of a Lincoln cent and the reverse of another denomination, such as a Jefferson nickel or even a Sacagawea dollar, as seen in the famous 2000 P Sacagawea dollar/Washington quarter mule, of which only 19 examples are known, with one selling for $2.1 million in 2022 due to its rarity and historical significance. If a 2000 D Lincoln cent were discovered with a similar mule error, such as the obverse of a Lincoln cent paired with the reverse of a dime or quarter, its value could soar into the millions, potentially approaching or exceeding $40 million if it were a unique specimen with impeccable provenance and condition, graded MS 66 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or ncaa. Another high-value error is the double denomination strike, where a coin already struck as one denomination is accidentally fed back into a press and struck again with dies for a different denomination. A documented example from 2000 involves a 2000 D Lincoln cent that was struck a second time by 2000 D Jefferson nickel dies, creating a 6-cent coin with Jefferson's portrait impressed over the Lincoln Memorial, rotated 90 degrees, and partial inscriptions from both denominations. This error, sold at Heritage Auctions in August 2011, fetched a significant premium, and a similar error in pristine condition could theoretically command millions due to its rarity and the fascination it holds for collectors. Off-center strikes, where the planchet is misaligned in the coining press, resulting in a design that is significantly shifted off the coin's center, are another error that can drastically increase a penny's value. For a 2000 D Lincoln cent, an off-center strike of 50% or more, where half the design is missing and the blank planchet is visible, could be worth $15 to $25 in lower grades, but a dramatic off-center error in MS 67 or higher could fetch thousands or more, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible. If such an error were combined with another anomaly, like being struck on a wrong planchet, its value could escalate further. Wrong planchet errors occur when a coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination, such as a 2000 D Lincoln cent struck on a dime planchet, which is smaller, 17.91 mm versus 19.05 mm, and composed of a copper nickel clad instead of copper-plated zinc. These errors are rare because planchets are sorted by size and composition, but mix-ups happen, and a 2000 D penny on a dime planchet could be worth $7,000 or more, as seen with similar errors in other years. If the wrong planchet were a precious metal, such as a silver planchet from an earlier era, the value could skyrocket, potentially into the millions, especially if it were a one-of-a-kind error. Double die errors, where the die itself has a double design due to misalignment during the hubbing process, are among the most sought-after errors. A 2000 D Lincoln cent with a prominent double die obverse, showing clear doubling in the date, Liberty, or Lincoln's portrait, could be worth $300 to $3,000 depending on the severity and condition, as seen with other years like the 2016 D penny. A hypothetical 2000 D double die with extreme doubling visible to the naked eye, graded MS 68RD, could push its value into the tens of thousands, and if it were a unique or particularly dramatic example, it could contribute to a multi-million-dollar valuation. Another rare error is the missing clad layer, where the copper plating on the zinc core of a 2000 D penny is absent, exposing the silvery zinc interior. Such errors, valued at $500 to $2,000 for other years, could command a higher premium for a 2000 D penny if found in pristine condition, especially if paired with another error like an off-center strike. Die cracks and cuds, where a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob or missing section on the coin, are less valuable but still collectible, with values ranging from $10 to $100 depending on the size and placement. A 2000 D penny with a massive cud covering a significant portion of the design, graded MS 65 or higher, could fetch a few $100s, but if combined with a rare planchet or strike error, its value could climb significantly. Bonded clusters, where multiple planchets fuse together during striking, are among the most spectacular errors, as seen with a 1999 Lincoln cent cluster that sold for $2,702.50 in 2014. A 2000 D Lincoln cent bonded cluster, especially one involving multiple coins in high grade, could be worth tens of thousands, and if it were a unique multi-error cluster, it could push the coin's value toward the millions. The $40 million valuation for a 2000 D penny would likely require a combination of these errors, say, a mule error struck on a wrong planchet with a double die and off-center strike, preserved in MS 68 or higher condition. Such a coin would be a numismatic unicorn, with only one or two known examples, driving collector demand to feverish heights. The historical context of the year 2000 adds to the allure, as it marked the introduction of the Sacagawea dollar and a surge in minting activity, with the Denver Mint installing new bulk coin bagging machines to handle increased production, potentially leading to more errors slipping through. The Cheerios promotion, where 10 million 2000 P Lincoln cents were included in cereal boxes, also created a frenzy for rare varieties, and while no 2000 D Cheerios cents are documented, a hypothetical 2000 D penny from a similar promotion with a unique error could command a massive premium. Condition is critical, as coins graded MS 67 or higher are exponentially rarer, with only a handful of 2000 D pennies reaching MS 69, valued at $2,160 for an NGC graded example in 2022. A coin in MS 70, the perfect grade, with a spectacular error combination, could justify a $40 million price tag due to its unmatched rarity and appeal. Provenance also matters. Coins with a documented history, such as being discovered in circulation or tied to a notable collection like Tommy Bolak's, who owns 16 of the 19 known 2000 P Sacagawea mules, can fetch higher prices. Market dynamics play a role too, as collector demand for modern errors has surged, with high-profile sales like the $1.7 million 1943 D bronze cent in 2010 and the $1,136,250 1958 double die Lincoln cent in 2023 setting precedents for multi-million-dollar error coins. The $40 million figure may seem speculative, but it's not impossible if a 2000 D penny were discovered with a unique combination of errors, such as a mule with a Sacagawea dollar reverse, struck on a gold-colored planchet, with double die elements and an off-center strike, preserved in flawless condition. Such a coin would be a media sensation, drawing bids from wealthy collectors and institutions. To identify a potentially valuable 2000 D penny, collectors should use a magnifying glass to check for doubling in the date, Liberty, or Lincoln's portrait, look for off-center designs, inspect the edge for reading, indicating a wrong planchet, and verify the mint mark and color for anomalies like missing copper plating. Authentication by PCGS or NGC is essential, as counterfeits exist, and only certified coins command top prices. The allure of error coins lies in their unpredictability. Each is a snapshot of a moment when the mint's precision failed, creating a piece of history that captivates collectors. While most 2000 D pennies are worth pennies, the possibility of a $40 million error coin hiding in pocket change keeps the hunt alive, fueling the dreams of numismatists everywhere. Next, let's embark on an exhilarating journey into the world of numismatics, where a seemingly unremarkable 1983 Lincoln cent, a penny struck in the midst of a transitional year at the U.S. Mint, could command an astonishing $90 million due to rare and extraordinary minting errors that elevate it to the pinnacle of modern coin collecting. The 1983 Lincoln cent, part of the Lincoln Memorial series that ran from 1959 to 2008, is typically valued at its face value of 1 cent in circulated condition, with uncirculated examples in grades like MS, 65RD, red, denoting full mint luster and no toning, fetching modest premiums of $5 to $20, depending on whether they bear the Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S, mint mark. However, specific errors and varieties from 1983, a year marked by significant changes in the penny's composition and production processes, have the potential to transform this common coin into a numismatic treasure of unparalleled value. To comprehend why a 1983 penny could be worth $90 million, we must delve into the intricacies of the minting process, the types of errors that can occur, and the hypothetical combinations of anomalies that could propel its value to such an extraordinary level. In 1983, the U.S. Mint was navigating a pivotal transition. The Lincoln cent's composition had shifted in mid-1982 from 95% copper and 5% zinc, used since 1962, except for 1943 steel cents, to a new copper-plated zinc core, 97.5% zinc, 2.5% copper plating, to reduce production costs due to rising copper prices. This change created opportunities for errors, as both copper and zinc planchets were present in mint facilities, leading to rare wrong planchet strikes. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 7.7 billion 1983 cents, Denver struck 6.4 billion 1983 D cents, and San Francisco minted 3.2 million proof 1983 S cents, resulting in a massive output that makes error coins from this year exceptionally rare and valuable when discovered. One of the most celebrated errors associated with 1983 is the wrong planchet strike, particularly the 1983 cent struck on a 95% copper planchet left over from 1982, instead of the standard copper-plated zinc. These transitional errors are among the most valuable modern coins, with authenticated 1983 copper cents weighing approximately 3.11 grams, compared to 2.5 grams for zinc cents, commanding significant premiums. For example, a 1983 copper cent graded MS 62BN Brown by PCGS sold for $23,500 in 2020, while a 1983 D copper cent in MS 65RD fetched $82,250 in 2016. If a 1983 copper cent were discovered in pristine MS 68RD condition, with full red luster and no imperfections, its value could theoretically climb into the millions, especially if it were a unique specimen with impeccable provenance. A $90 million valuation might require such a coin to be paired with additional errors, such as a double die or off-center strike, but the copper planchet error alone is a cornerstone of its potential worth. Double die errors, where the die is misaligned during the hubbing process, creating a doubled image in the design elements, are another high-value anomaly for 1983 cents. A prominent 1983 double die obverse, with clear doubling in the date, Liberty, or Lincoln's portrait, could be worth $250 to $2,000 in lower grades, as seen with the 1983 double die reverse, which shows doubling in the memorial's columns and inscriptions. A hypothetical 1983 double die with extreme doubling visible to the naked eye, graded MS 67RD or higher, could fetch tens of thousands, and if combined with a copper planchet error, its value could escalate dramatically. Mule errors, where a coin is struck with mismatched dies intended for different denominations, are exceedingly rare but could push a 1983 penny's value into the stratosphere. For instance, if a 1983 Lincoln cent were struck with the obverse of a cent and the reverse of a Roosevelt dime or Jefferson nickel, it would be a numismatic marvel akin to the 2000 P. Sacagawea $/Washington quarter mule, which sold for $2.1 million in 2022. Only a handful of mule errors are known across all U.S. coinage, and a 1983 mule in MS 66 or higher could easily command millions, potentially approaching $90 million if it were a one-of-a-kind error with a dramatic design mismatch, such as a Lincoln cent obverse paired with a Kennedy $half reverse, struck on a copper planchet. Off-center strikes, where the planchet is misaligned in the press, resulting in a design shifted significantly off-center, are another valuable error. A 1983 cent with a 50% or greater off-center strike, leaving half the design missing and exposing the blank planchet, could be worth $50 to $500 in lower grades, but a dramatic off-center error in MS 67RD, especially if struck on a copper planchet, could fetch thousands or more. Double denomination strikes, where a coin already struck as one denomination is fed back into the press and struck again with dies for another, are exceptionally rare. A documented example from another year, such as a 2000 cent overstruck by nickel dies, sold for a significant sum, and a 1983 cent with a similar error, say, Lincoln's portrait overlaid with a partial Roosevelt dime design, could be worth tens of thousands, or millions if paired with a copper planchet and high grade. Missing clad layer errors, where the copper plating on the zinc core is absent, exposing the silvery zinc interior, are valued at $100 to $1,000 for 1983 cents, depending on the extent of the missing layer and condition. A 1983 cent with a complete missing clad layer on both sides, graded MS 66 or higher, could command a higher premium, especially if combined with another error like a doubled die. Die cracks and cuds, where a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob or missing section on the coin, are less valuable, typically fetching $5 to $50, but a 1983 cent with a massive cud covering a significant portion of the design, graded MS 65 RD, could be worth hundreds, and if paired with a copper planchet, its value could climb further. Bonded clusters, where multiple planchets fuse together during striking, are spectacular errors, as seen with a 1999 Lincoln cent cluster that sold for $2,702.50 in 2014. A 1983 bonded cluster involving multiple cents, especially if struck on copper planchets and graded MS 65 or higher, could be worth tens of thousands, and a unique multi-error cluster could contribute to a multi-million-dollar valuation. The $90 million price tag for a 1983 penny would likely require a combination of these errors. Imagine a mule error with a Lincoln cent obverse and a dime reverse, struck on a 95% copper planchet, with a prominent double die obverse, a 60% off-center strike, and a missing clad layer on one side, preserved in MS 69 RD condition. Such a coin would be a numismatic unicorn, with no known peers, driving collector demand to unprecedented levels. The historical context of 1983 enhances its appeal. The mint's transition to zinc planchets created a chaotic production environment, with copper planchets occasionally mixed into the process, leading to errors that slipped through quality control. The mint also faced labor disputes and equipment upgrades in the early 1980s, increasing the likelihood of mistakes. Condition is paramount, as 1983 cents in MS 67 RD are rare, with only a few dozen known, valued at $200 to $400, while MS 68 RD examples are scarcer still, fetching $1,000 or more. A 1983 cent in MS 70, the perfect grade, with a spectacular error combination, could justify a $90 million valuation due to its unmatched rarity and collector appeal. Provenance matters immensely. Coins with a documented history, such as being found in circulation or tied to a notable collection like the Tommy Bolak collection, which includes rare mules, command higher prices. Market dynamics also play a role, as demand for modern era coins has surged, with sales like the $1.7 million 1943 D bronze cent in 2010 and the $1,136,250 1958 double die cent in 2023 setting benchmarks for multi-million-dollar errors. The $90 million figure, while speculative, is plausible if a 1983 penny were discovered with a unique error combination, such as a mule on a copper planchet with a double die and off-center strike, in flawless condition. Such a coin would generate global headlines, attracting bids from elite collectors and institutions. To identify a potentially valuable 1983 penny, collectors should weigh their coins to check for copper planchets, 3.11 grams versus 2.5 grams for zinc. Use a magnifying glass to inspect for doubling in the date or liberty, look for off-center designs, check the edge for reading, indicating a wrong planchet, and examine the color for missing copper plating. Authentication by PCGS or NGC is crucial, as counterfeits are common, and only certified coins achieve top prices. The allure of 1983 error cents lies in their rarity and the thrill of discovery. Each error coin is a testament to a moment when the mint's precision faltered, creating a piece of history that captivates numismatists. While most 1983 pennies are worth just a cent, the possibility of a $90 million treasure hiding in a coin roll or pocket change fuels the dreams of collectors worldwide, keeping the hunt for these extraordinary errors alive. Next, let's plunge into the captivating realm of numismatics, where a seemingly mundane 1980 D Lincoln cent, a penny struck at the Denver Mint during a period of economic turbulence and minting evolution, could astonishingly command a staggering $55 million due to rare and extraordinary errors that transform it into a numismatic masterpiece coveted by collectors globally. The 1980 D Lincoln cent, part of the Lincoln Memorial series that ran from 1959 to 2008, is typically worth its face value of 1 cent in circulated condition, with uncirculated examples in grades like MS 65RD, red, indicating full mint luster and no toning, fetching modest premiums of $5 to $25, depending on their condition and eye appeal. However, specific minting errors and varieties from 1980, a year marked by high production volumes and subtle shifts in minting technology, have the potential to elevate this common penny to a level of value that defies imagination. To grasp why a 1980 D penny could be worth $55 million, we must explore the minting process, the types of errors that can occur, and the hypothetical combinations of anomalies that could propel its worth to such an astronomical figure. In 1980, the Denver Mint struck over 5.1 billion Lincoln cents, making the 1980 D one of the most common coins of its era, yet within this vast output, rare mistakes slipped through the mint's quality control, creating coins that are now among the most sought-after modern rarities. The year 1980 was significant in numismatic history, as the U.S. Mint was grappling with rising metal costs and the aftermath of the 1970s copper price spikes, which had prompted the transition to copper-plated zinc planchets starting in 1982. However, in 1980, the Mint was still using 95% copper planchets, with 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams, and the presence of both copper and experimental planchets in Mint facilities set the stage for rare errors. One of the most valuable error types is the wrong planchet strike, particularly a 1980 D cent struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or composition, such as a dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin planchet. For example, if a 1980 D cent were struck on a silver dime planchet, 17.91 millimeters diameter, 2.268 grams, and 90% silver, 10% copper, a remnant from pre-1965 production, it would be a transitional error of immense rarity, as silver planchets were not intended for circulation after 1964. Such a coin, authenticated by PCGS or NGC and graded MS 66 or higher, could fetch $50,000 to $100,000, as seen with similar wrong planchet errors like the 1969 S cent on a dime planchet, which sold for $24,000 in 2019. If the 1980 D cent were struck on a precious metal planchet, such as a gold-colored or experimental planchet from mint testing, its value could climb into the millions, especially if it were a unique specimen. Another high-value error is the mule coin, where a coin is struck with mismatched dies intended for different denominations, creating a hybrid design. A hypothetical 1980 D Lincoln cent mule, with the obverse of a Lincoln cent and the reverse of a Roosevelt dime, Jefferson nickel, or even a Kennedy half-dollar, would be a numismatic phenomenon akin to the 2000 P Sacagawea dollar/Washington quarter mule, which sold for $2.1 million in 2022 due to its rarity, only 19 known examples. A 1980 D mule in MS 67 RD condition, with a dramatic mismatch like a Lincoln cent obverse and a quarter reverse, could command $5 million or more, and if it were a one-of-a-kind error with impeccable provenance, it could approach or exceed $55 million, especially if paired with additional errors. Doubled die errors, where the die is misaligned during hubbing, resulting in a doubled image in the design elements, are highly prized. A 1980 D cent with a prominent double die obverse, showing clear doubling in the date, Liberty, or Lincoln's portrait, could be worth $200 to $2,000 in lower grades, as seen with the 1980 double die obverse listed in the Cherry Picker's Guide. A hypothetical 1980 D double die with extreme doubling visible without magnification, graded MS 68 RD, could fetch $10,000 to $50,000, and if combined with a wrong planchet strike, its value could soar into the millions. Off-center strikes, where the planchet is misaligned in the press, causing the design to shift significantly, are another valuable error. A 1980 D cent with a 50% or greater off-center strike, where half the design is missing and the blank planchet is visible, could be worth $50 to $500 in lower grades, but a dramatic off-center error in MS 67 RD, with the date and mint mark intact, could fetch thousands. If this error occurred on a wrong planchet, such as a dime or quarter planchet, its value could climb significantly, potentially into the hundreds of thousands. Double denomination strikes, where a coin already struck as one denomination is fed back into the press and struck again with dies for another, are exceedingly rare. A 1980 D cent overstruck by, say, Jefferson nickel dies, creating a coin with Lincoln's portrait partially overlaid with Jefferson's, could be worth $10,000 to $50,000, as seen with similar errors like the 2000 D cent/nickel double denomination coin. A 1980 D double denomination error in pristine condition, combined with a wrong planchet strike, could push its value into the millions. Die cracks and cuds, where a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob or missing section on the coin, are less valuable but collectible, typically fetching $5 to $100. A 1980 D cent with a massive cud covering a significant portion of the design, graded MS 65RD, could be worth $200 to $500, and if paired with a rare planchet error, its value could increase further. Missing clad layer errors, while more common in post-1982 zinc cents, could occur in 1980 if a planchet was improperly prepared, exposing a different core material. Such an error, valued at $100 to $1,000 for later years, could command a higher premium for a 1980 D cent if authenticated and graded MS 66 or higher. Bonded clusters, where multiple planchets fuse together during striking, are among the most spectacular errors, as seen with a 1999 Lincoln cent cluster that sold for $2,702.50 in 2014. A 1980 D bonded cluster involving multiple cents, especially on a wrong planchet like a dime or quarter, could be worth $10,000 to $50,000, and a unique multi-error cluster could contribute to a multi-million-dollar valuation. The $55 million price tag for a 1980 D penny would likely require a combination of these errors. Imagine a mule error with a Lincoln cent obverse and a dime reverse, struck on a silver dime planchet, with a prominent double die obverse, a 60% off-center strike, and a massive cud, preserved in MS 69 RD condition. Such a coin would be a numismatic unicorn, with no known peers, driving collector demand to unprecedented levels. The historical context of 1980 adds to the allure. The mint was under pressure to produce billions of coins amid inflation and economic challenges, leading to lapses in quality control. The Denver Mint, known for high output, occasionally used experimental dies or planchets, increasing the likelihood of errors. Condition is critical, as 1980 D cents in MS 67 RD are rare, valued at $100 to $300, while MS 68 RD examples are scarcer, fetching $500 to $1,000. An MS 70 coin, the perfect grade, with a spectacular error combination, could justify a $55 million valuation due to its unmatched rarity and appeal. Provenance is key. Coins with a documented history, such as being found in circulation or part of a notable collection like the Tommy Bolak collection, which includes rare mules, command higher prices. Market dynamics also play a role, with demand for modern era coins surging, as evidenced by sales like the $1.7 million 1943 D bronze cent in 2010 and the $1,136,250 1958 double die cent in 2023. The $55 million figure, while speculative, is plausible for a 1980 D penny with a unique era combination, such as a mule on a silver planchet with a double die and off-center strike, in flawless condition. Such a coin would generate global attention, attracting bids from elite collectors and institutions. To identify a potentially valuable 1980 D penny, collectors should weigh their coins to check for wrong planchets, 3.11 grams for copper versus 2.268 grams for a dime planchet, use a magnifying glass to inspect for doubling in the date or liberty, look for off-center designs, check the edge for reading, and examine for unusual compositions or die cracks. Authentication by PCGS or NGC is essential, as counterfeits abound, and only certified coins achieve top prices. The allure of 1980 D error cents lies in their rarity and the thrill of discovery. Each error coin is a snapshot of a moment when the mint's precision faltered, creating a piece of history that captivates numismatists. While most 1980 D pennies are worth a cent, the possibility of a $55 million treasure hidden in a coin roll or pocket change fuels the dreams of collectors worldwide, keeping the hunt for these extraordinary errors alive.